Смухи стреляю, осторожно. Ебашу.
Welcome to the Conflict Zone YouTube channel. Ukrainian fighters are making remarkable advances in their operations against the enemy, successfully cornering them on their own territory. Recent tactical operations carried out by Ukrainian fighters in Belgorod have thrown the entire Russian order into disarray. In response to the deadly Ukrainian offensive, Russia has initiated the evacuation of Belgorod residents, with Governor Vaslav Gladkov confirming a significant exodus of families from the city near the Ukrainian border. The aftermath of the offensive saw a devastating attack resulting in 25 casualties and over 100 injuries, marking one of the deadliest incidents since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. Described as the largest Russian missile bombardment in the war by some sources, more than 160 people were wounded in subsequent major Russian attacks, leaving the border city near Ukraine devoid of safe havens. Governor Gladkov, in his efforts to address public concerns, announced plans to relocate residents to towns like Stary Osil and Gubkin. However, recognizing the limitations of such accommodations, he sought assistance from colleagues in other regions. Amidst this turmoil, a looming missile threat prompted the governor to issue a warning, urging residents to seek shelter. Tensions escalated as the U.S. accused Russia of a significant and troubling escalation in Ukraine, citing the use of ballistic missiles and launchers allegedly supplied by North Korea, a claim Moscow vehemently denied. The recent approval of a $250 million military aid package for Ukraine by the White House underscores the international concern. The situation remains precarious, with the conflict intensifying and the need for aid becoming increasingly urgent. Negotiations for additional funding in Congress have hit an impasse, primarily due to a lack of Republican support. Republicans are insisting on integrating stricter security measures on the U.S.-Mexico border as a prerequisite for any military aid deal. Ukraine has issued a stark warning, emphasizing that the war effort and the nation's public finances are at risk if Western aid does not arrive promptly. Concurrently, a significant military shakeup unfolded in Ukraine as President Vladimir Zelensky dismissed the top army commander, Valery Zon. According to Sean Walker's report, this marks the most substantial military reorganization in Ukraine since the large-scale Russian invasion. Zon's dismissal has sparked intense debate nationally and internationally, especially given his high approval rating among Ukrainians. The move is viewed as a risky decision for Zelensky, and its potential impact on Ukraine's precarious position in the battlefield remains uncertain. In light of this development, Colonel General Alexander Cersi has been appointed to replace Zon as the commander of the ground forces. While Cersi played a pivotal role in the successful defense of Kiev and the execution of a counteroffensive in the Kyiv region in 2022, he carries a mixed reputation among frontline soldiers, accused of alleged indifference to their lives. Opposition Ukrainian MP Alexei Goncharenko highlighted that Zelensky values Cersi's non-political stance, considering it the most crucial aspect. Meanwhile, the U.S. Senate has resurrected a wartime aid package for Ukraine and Israel, overcoming previous Republican opposition linked to a border security bill. The revived $95 billion emergency aid bill is now under consideration, reflecting the ongoing efforts to address the escalating crisis in Ukraine. Following their demands and subsequent abandonment, a day after obstructing a measure that would have linked stringent border restrictions with security assistance to Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies, the Senate voted 67-32 to initiate the consideration of a $95 billion emergency aid bill. Many Republicans, previously in favor of blocking the broader border package, agreed to engage in debate solely on the foreign policy version of the measure. They secured the opportunity to propose amendments, including those related to lifted immigration enforcement measures. As Kiev seeks Washington's assistance against Russian forces on the front lines, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer lauded the preliminary vote as a positive initial step. However, uncertainties persist as Republicans threaten to impose a protracted amendment process. Additionally, Ukraine's military defense intelligence disclosed that Russia is actively recruiting mercenaries from Syria to reinforce its military capabilities for the ongoing war in Ukraine. The intelligence report indicated a decline in the moral and psychological state of Russian occupation forces due to substantial losses, necessitating the replenishment of their ranks for upcoming offensives. Initial training sessions for the estimated 1,000 mercenaries have focused on urban combat operations in Syria, near Aleppo and Karas airport. Upon completing their training, the mercenaries are anticipated to be transferred to Russia's Kamum air base in Syria before being relocated to Russian territory, as per Ukrainian intelligence sources. The Syrian soldiers, upon completion of their training, are granted Russian citizenship, provided with Russian passports, and subsequently conscripted into the offensive units of the Russian army. Video footage attached to HER's report displays a significant number of Syrians carrying Russian passports, allegedly issued within 5 days. Reliable sources have disclosed that Moscow is utilizing travel agencies to entice Syrian men facing difficult conditions in their war-ravaged homeland. Initially promised positions as security guards at oil refineries in Yakutia, they are later tempted with offers of higher-paying jobs in Bua. Recruited in annual and UD Bua, they are anticipated to join the 5th Separate Guards Tank Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, participating in combat operations against Ukraine. Simultaneously, the Ukrainian armed forces persist in their operations against the enemy in the Kherson region. Ukrainian troops successfully destroyed 2 reconnaissance aircraft of the Kherson Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade on February 9, 2024. The Southern Defense Forces statement confirmed the destruction of 2 Russian reconnaissance UAVs in the Kherson region. A video released by the Southern Defense Forces depicts the demise of one of these drones. Additionally, units of the Mobile Fire Group from the Ukrainian Air Force and the Ukrainian Defense Forces eliminated 10 out of 16 Shahad 136-131 attack drones. In his inaugural public statement as the newly appointed commander of the armed forces, General Alexander Cersi emphasized the necessity for a new approach to achieve success on the battlefield. He highlighted that only changes and continuous improvement in the means and methods of warfare would pave the way for victory. Cersi specifically singled out drones and electronic warfare as pivotal technologies that would aid Ukraine in achieving victory. This leadership change, with CKI replacing the popular commander Valery Zhugy, has sparked considerable discussion in Ukraine. Zelensky's decision to dismiss Z, who refused to step down, is viewed as a risky move given Z's high approval ratings and potential political aspirations. Critics suggest that Zelensky may be motivated by concerns over Z's popularity. Zelensky's office, however, describes Cersi as someone capable of offering a new approach on the battlefield, expressing hope that this decision will lead to greater victory. Thank you for tuning in.